If you've been told that you need $1 or $2 million in order to retire, you've been lied to. That's not a goal, that's a sales tactic to get you to feel behind or concerned or to feel some fear so that you'll hand over your retirement portfolio to some wealth advisor who will then charge you 1% as you both watch that number shrink and shrink. By the end of this video, you're going to learn how you can create an account that'll have the impact in your retirement of an account worth over $300,000. Today we're going to look at retirement math, and that's the math that most banks and other financial institutions don't want you to see. According to the Federal Reserve, the median nest egg for the average 60-year-old in the United States is $185,000. Now, if you follow that traditional 4% withdrawal rule, that means that money is going to pay you exactly $616 a month. You see, that isn't retirement. That's what's called a dependency trap. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you how a $185,000 median nest egg will be more secure than a multi-million-dollar one. We're going to talk about a cash flow bridge and how human capital, your human capital, is 100% the only defense you have against inflation. So to begin with, let's talk about somebody you probably have never heard of. Let's talk about Bill Bengen. He's the MIT graduate who a long time ago came up with that 4% rule. Did it back in 1994. It was based on a 30-year retirement where you'd never run out of money. But Bengen's world didn't have what we're experiencing with 7% inflation. You see, if you look at the $185,000 average nest egg for the average American, you can see the problem. At 4%, you're drawing out $7,416 every year. So let's do the math together. And by the way, after taxes, even on your 401k, you're looking at maybe $550 a month in net spendable cash using that 4% rule. So think about your life right now. Think about what you spend and what you need. Can $550, can it cover your property taxes? What about your Medicare Part B or D? Your supplemental insurance? For most of us, that money is gone even before we buy a bag of groceries. That's what's called the leak in your retirement plan. If you just sit on that pile of cash, you are a consumer in a race against your own mortality. Every time the market dips 10%, your heart races. That's no way to spend the absolute best years for the rest of your life. This is where we need to pivot from being the victim of the numbers to being a manager of the risk. We need to build a bridge that keeps us from touching the principal of that $185,000 nest egg, especially during high inflation years. Here's the math that will absolutely change your life. To generate an extra $1,000 a month in retirement income using that 4% rule, you would have to save an additional $300,000. Now, for the most of us, finding $300,000, say after age 60 or even before that, it's almost impossible. But if you can earn an extra $1,000 a month through a side gig, that's the same thing as effectively creating $300,000 and adding that to your net worth. Let's also talk about the health cost. There's a study from the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology that show people who transition into bridge jobs have fewer major diseases and functional limitations than those who just fully retire and do nothing. Now, why is that? Because the dependency trap, it isn't just a financial impact. There's a physical one as well. When you stop moving and solving problems, your biological interest rate, right? The charge, how expensive it is, right? In non-monetary ways, goes up. Your medical costs become a $5,000 a month leak that depletes your financial legacy. A side gig is a defensive asset, and it keeps you out of the managed care system. I'm not talking about greeting people at the front end of some big box store and offering them a grocery cart or checking their receipts as they leave. Here are 3 ways to develop a unique side gig that fits you and your experience. Number one, skill-based consulting. If you've spent 30 or 40 years learning how to solve specific problems, maybe you're a foreman, a nurse, a bookkeeper. There are small businesses struggling right now because they don't have what? Your institutional knowledge. They don't need a full-time employee. That's not what they're after. They need you to come, maybe say for 5 hours a month, to keep them from making a $10,000 mistake that you won't make because of your experience. That's high margin, high impact income. Here's another example. Asset arbitrage. Look around your house. Do you have a workshop? Do you have a truck? Do you have a garage? During the saving phase, those things were actually liabilities. Now in the distribution phase, they become a capital resource. Renting out specialized tools or space can generate $500 a month with zero labor from you. All right, number three, the service bridge. This is a niche local service provided to people in your area. I know somebody who retired who now manages a portfolio of short-term rentals for some investors. It provides him a social challenge. He meets with, schedules people who clean, people who can repair, individuals who are looking to rent. And that money by itself provides more than ample enough for his food budget and his fun travel budget. Let's talk about a proven, compelling way to find the right side gig for you. All right, you're not going to find it scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through Instagram, and finding gurus who are talking about workshops or classes or how to make money this way and this way. You need to find the right side gig for you. Here's what you do. I want you to find 12 people that you've associated with. Ideally, 3 individuals who worked for you, 3 of your peers, 3 people who you reported to, and 3 people who are friends. So 12 people in total. And you're going to send them an anonymous email, okay, so that their response is anonymous, to just be clear. And you're going to ask them some questions. Look, I'm looking to start a side gig. You may know me better than I know myself. Ask them some questions like, what would I be good at? What would you buy from me? You know me and my personality. What are some things that people come and ask me all the time that I'm able to answer? What's a topic that I can talk to immediately without any preparation because I find it as a passion and compelling and interesting? You see, gathering that kind of real-world feedback from people that you've worked with and associated with over so many years is going to give you an insight into who you are. Things that you take for granted, you think everybody knows how to do this service or this skill or this project, and it's just not so. That kind of side gig, leveraging your experience, is the way to get started making that retirement money, making that extra money, which is the same as $300,000 in that account. You don't need a mastermind. You don't need a course. You don't need a class. You need to trust yourself and your skills. You see, this is the secret sauce. If that side gig covers your basic monthly needs, guess what? That's going to allow you to dramatically improve your monthly Social Security check. So let's do some retirement math. If your full retirement age, your FRA, is 67, which is true for so many of us, but you can delay needing that Social Security check and starting to take it until age 70, what happens? Your check grows by a guaranteed 8% every single year. That's a 24% permanent, government guaranteed, inflation adjusted pay raise. You're not going to find that anywhere in the S&P 500 unless you're willing to take on some massive risk. Your side gig, it isn't just, extra, no big deal money. It's the fuel. It allows you to wait for that raise. This is how the median saver beats the millionaire. So we've been sold a version of retirement that is the equivalent of planned obsolescence. They want you to stop being a producer and turn into nothing more than a consumer, eating away your own savings. What I'm suggesting is absolute independence. See, in retirement, you don't just manage money, you manage the risks that take your money away. Success isn't about how big the pile of money is at the end of the rainbow. Success is the strength of the tripod we so often talk about. Money, health, and relationships. Put that tripod together and you can have a retirement that you can enjoy. So reach out to those 12 people. Find the skill set that you've got. Develop that side gig and you'll have the impact of $300,000 and your net worth. If you found this helpful, if it made you think more about side gigs, do me a favor, would you subscribe? Pass this on to somebody else as you ask them for your input and to find out what you're great at.